Welcome back into Fox Carolina Tailgate. Beth Houle joined by Patrick Sapp. I want to turn our attention to Clemson now. Coming off of that win over Wake Forest. This one, I have to I was like, are we going into an overtime again with Wake Forest? This was way too many flashbacks to last year. Way too close of a game, for my opinion, of where I thought Clemson was progressing to at this point.
Yeah, and I'll be on the other side of that. And as a player, to me, a win is a win.
Right, yeah, no, that's all great. But, like, in the heat of the moment, as you're sitting there in the stands watching this game, this isn't the Wake Forest of last year. So, like, how? The defense looks great. So
defense played great. Offense missed a lot of opportunities to score the football.
That's a nice way of putting it.
When you're there and you're watching it, and you try to, you always try to find a silver line in everything, right?
We do.
We had guys open, but we didn't get it there, right? Some of the calls, they worked, but we didn't execute. So you look at that as a positive, right?
That's a positive.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing because what we're doing is working. We just have to execute it.
Okay.
Now, Wake Forest defensively, they don't have all the talent, but they got a great secondary. And the way they play up front, they ran a lot of games, a lot of slants and stuff like that. So it really frustrated us. But the adjustment we made at halftime in the run game is the reason we won that game. And so looking at that growth.
Spell that out. What was the adjustment? What changed?
Well, we started running gap scheme, which is man-to-man blocking, and we started pulling in the run game. So we pulled Sadler, opened up a lot of runs, a lot of holes, and so it changed it up. Wake Forest hadn't saw us done that a lot this year. It's the first time they really got that feel from Clemson, and it worked. And so we was able to move those guys and really run the football effectively. And let's face it, Cave didn't have his best game. He wasn't on, and he's the first one that admitted, hey, I was not accurate passing the football in this game. But we found a way to get it done. And I like the youngster taking that responsibility, owning it, saying, hey, I have to be better. And I think he has the right attitude about it, and I think he will. And again, we're going to have those ups and downs with a young quarterback.
I just can't help it every week when I watch the NFL and I see Trevor Lawrence playing that I'm like, yeah, this is Cade Klubnik's problem. You got so used to a Trevor who is just a freak of nature, who's still like so incredibly young. So I just feel like it's like this warped sense of reality of what to expect from a young quarterback. And like constantly watching on Sundays, I'm like, yeah, this is the problem.
Well, I mean, we had at least 7 years of that.
Yeah.
Because you had Deshaun before him.
True.
So two guys that are generational quarterbacks playing in your program, as a fan, you get spoiled.
Yeah.
Because those guys came in with great talent around them.
But it's fair to expect production in the red zone, and Clemson has struggled enormously in the red zone.
That's a problem, and so I think you have to scheme it up better. I don't think that's all on the players, to be honest with you. You got to be more creative down there. But sometimes when you're in short yardage, you're in goal line, you have to just run the football north and south. I mean, I would lay Shipley is an effort guy. Mm-hmm. He's not a highly, highly talented, athletic running back, but he's dang sure a hard runner. And he's a guy that's going to run between the tackles, and he's going to fight with everything he has. And then a guy like Maffa. So sometimes you just got to put it on those guys' shoulders and get the yardage that you need.
And say, go get it.
Go get it.
Yeah, well, you talk about the fact that maybe that's not on the players as much. We got the chance to talk to Garret Riley this week. We don't get the chance to talk to the coordinators as much as we used to in this year. They've made an adjustment within the Clemson program. And so he was asked, Garret Riley was asked, how different is this offense from what you were calling at TCU? Because we're not seeing the explosive plays, the production, and the scoring that we saw from your TCU teams of past. And so this was Garret Riley's response.
I mean, every offense is different. I mean, we got different players. You got different players, and you got a younger quarterback, and just all of those things, right? I mean, but we're attacking a lot of the same ways. I mean, not a lot of difference there, I would say. Just kind of who we have and who we are right now, and just trying to work through it, and kind of the last few games, it's getting off to a faster start, I think, would allow us to probably unhook the plow almost a little bit.
Different players, different personnel.
Well, I
Internet went crazy for that. How do you react to that?
I think he's telling the truth. I mean, if you want to compare, everybody talks about the quarterback. You want to compare the quarterbacks. I mean, you had a senior guy that played a lot of football at TCU that you just can't replace that. And so you come here with a younger quarterback, a guy that's been in your system, a guy that understands defense, has seen a lot of snaps, understand the flow of the game, the ins and outs that goes into it. You're going to have more freedom to call plays with him. You're going to be more creative with him because you understand that he can execute what you're calling. You get a younger quarterback that don't have the experience that, hey, we saw turn the ball over early in the year. Mm-hmm. It makes you, as an offensive coordinator, just by nature, pull back a little bit. And I think that's what he's alluding to when he's making those comments about, hey, we have a different personnel.
As a player, how do you react to that?
I'm going to work. Because to me, it says to me that my OC do not feel like either we have the talent or we're not executing at the level to be where we need to be. And so as a player, I have to own my position, whatever that is. If it's running back, offensive line, quarterback, own it, and I have to be better.
So tell us how that works. Is this a conversation that's been going on inside the building, or is this a Garret, he's confronted with a question, he answers it honestly, and now there's an eye-opening moment inside the building?
I don't think so. I know Coach Sweeney is a coach that don't miss much. Mm-hmm. And he is going to communicate with his guys what he feel are the issues, right? And so when you start to evaluate those guys and listen to his comment and what he said that same thing to his players before. They know that who's failing, who's not getting it done, how we're losing games, how offensively we're not as productive as we should be. That's not the first time we heard it.
Is that stuff that can change in the bye week? That can take a step forward in the bye week?
Yeah, I would say now change and taking a step forward is two different things. But, yeah, I think it's something that you go back to your basics, you get better at that, but you force guys to play better, have more focus. And let's face it, this game is such a mental game. A little bit of time away, a little bit of time to hit that refresh button, I think you'll see that from some of these guys, but I think you'll see a little bit different personnel going into the rest of the season too.
All right. Well, on that tease, we'll toss it to break and come back with a little bit more. Don't worry, I'll make him get into that a little bit when we come back from the break.